Bahamian Junkanoo group won the place at the Junkanoo. Is there any documentation available I could use to prove or disprove that?
Well, with reference to that, the Bahamas Historical Society is a great place to begin. I'm not dispelling it. I'm not dispelling it. It's just that that was not part of my focus there. But again, that is from a feminist perspective something else that can be explored within the context. Because we do know that Junkanoo is a tradition and forms of Junkanoo is something that was transported from Africa. And it's quite possible that that may be true, but again, that was not my focus. But the archives is definitely a great place, and that is something that you would like to explore.
Is there any document, have you come across any documentation of women slaves participating in Junkanoo in its earliest forms?
No, I haven't, because like I said, that isn't something that I really focused on with reference to it. Again, that is something that can be explored.
Good evening. Thank you for your presentation. I have a question more about contemporary society and bringing back your research and what's going on today. I'm interested in using this term transactional, I guess, discourse when you publish your work and then sort of state within the scholarly community. And I'd like to know how we can bridge that gap between what you learn and studying and then getting out into our education system. You mentioned your practice of helping Bahamian women to think more highly of themselves and us as a nation, like how we're being informed to embrace our history rather than maybe the one that's going to be. So I have a very practical question for you. How do you imagine us being able to do that? Are you perhaps working on a goal that we can integrate into our school system, or is there a way that you want this kind of knowledge that's in the syllabus? And I went to college in high school, and I thought I felt really grounded based on practice and people out there that knew what slavery was like, but I could to have a
Well, just to answer the question, for me, I think it's a grassroots approach. And I think forums like this provides an opportunity for us to come and to listen. And I hope that when many of you leave here this evening, you've taken something of what you would have heard, what you would have shared with each other, and take it to your various places, whether it's within your workplace, whether it's within your church, or whether it's within your home. Because only through dialogue can we actually begin to ask questions and begin to work together. And by having more forums like this through the Bahamas Historical Society, we're able to actually come together and actually have opportunities to discuss, have opportunities to present. And one of the ways that technology has really helped is as a result of Facebook and where we actually have so many people in here this evening. And by coming together, sitting down, discussing the issues, and being able to disseminate whether it is through technology or whether it is through curriculum, then hopefully be able to engage in the transformational process. Because that's really important for me. I think day-to-day we engage in transactional. Just writing an article, having it sit there, that's transactional. But actually being able to take the contents of that article and begin to build a foundation from the ground up and actually have people buy into it. Like you said, you've learned something this evening about who you are and getting the word out there. Then you'll actually be able to engage in a transformational process where young girls can actually begin to look at themselves positively, and we can actually embrace who we are as Black women. And that's why I mentioned that maybe instead of from a feminist perspective, look at how do we get parity with our male counterpart, redefining the question and asking where do we move forward. We've had that, how do we move forward from there? But for me, it's really from the ground up. Forums such as this is a perfect place to begin. And once all of you leave here, have a discussion with another person, have a discussion with another person. Next month, come back, and again, we can actually begin to grow and actually transform our country.
The article is in the new journal. So it's free to you can see it. Yeah. Here and then there. And then I know our question.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm doing some work on women's suffrage movement. And the flip side is both for world men, and also the written text that I'm reading, also shows women participating actively in rural riots and the strikes of 1958, and also helped to radicalize the later movement towards independence and physical majority male, but it's passing, the name is passing, talent, fine. What I want to know, you spoke earlier about the radical role women played in slave roles, etc. And I want to know more about that, if you have stories about that, because that is something that obviously is highlighted. And as I am reading contemporary, now, the story is something we expect. We get dominant voice to getting leading women and how to impact and how to rise and I want to know if you have any stories about the in the United States and here.
There's information, and I think Ms. Thomas had mentioned, and it's exactly right, because we tend to look at things from a contemporary perspective, and that's why for me, it was essential before I actually began to discuss the issue of redefining or creating a new paradigm shift in terms of how you view the Black woman, to go back to the past, because there is that disconnect and that gap, and you are correct in terms of women with the rural riot, and this is a phenomenon that occurred within the Caribbean, actually beginning around the 1950s and 60s, women mobilizing themselves, and they were the grassroots of these political movements, which eventually had majority rule throughout the region. As Caribbean sisters and brothers such as Barbara Bush and others have begun to generate this information in their Caribbean countries, and again, that was my focus of really coming home and actually putting it from a Bahamian perspective. What role do women play in the Barbara Riot? What role do women play in majority rule? But it was essential to go back to the past to find that information, to make that link, that after coming out of slavery, women again continued that dominance in the market economies, and from the market economies, these were women out there who actually, in their markets, in their churches, in their social communities, discussing the change that is necessary. These were the women who actually supporting the men. These were the foot soldiers who actually out there getting the word out. That story has never been told. And so what is important again for us to ask the questions, and you have asked the question, and there's information there for us to actually go and research and rewrite history from our perspective. Because oftentimes when we think about majority rule, we think about Somalia, but we think about the independent. But there were so many strong women who were there. There were so many church women who were there, who actually were, and Saudi Island women, of course, who were out there actually getting the word out and actually bringing about this change. And so that is part of the process there in terms of what we want to do to hear our own voice.
Good evening. Based on the fact that you spoke about the ancient women is different from the female slave in the Caribbean, is there any connection between the Bahamian slave woman and the Portuguese black woman? Because in my research, I've come across here the Bahamian style of cooking, Bahamian style of the Portuguese women's style of cooking is quite relative. The way we do it, the way they do it, and it's distinct different from the women south of us. It's more to the north of us, being Portuguese blacks, basically. They settled up in the New England area, Boston and all that, in New England on the back. Is there any relative research that you can...
But again, when we're looking at the collective identity of a race, the collective identity for women or men of black origins or Negro origins in this region stems from Africa. So yes, there will definitely be similarities.